SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. Fantasy sports today.
Can he be a guy that's really useful in your fantasy rotation? I think the answer is yes.
Game time decisions.
I'm going to lose the bet because he's injured again.
Betting above the rim.
He's got a broke J. That's all there is to it. He's got no confidence in that jump shot.
My thing you've always heard me say on the network is you're either winning or you're rebuilding.
In-game live all access.
Wondering when that was going to happen, and the answer is it just did.
The bigger guy will have the advantage. Well, if the little guy can move, Joe, it's hard to hit the little guy sometimes when you're a big boy, right?
In-game live, prime time.
40-1, I'm going to take a little flyer on Justin Rose.
In-game live, overtime.
As you sit here and listen, watch right now, you may want to consider placing that bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
I think the one comparison that I'd like to make that reminds me of Tiger is Scotty's ability to make shots on a Sunday look like shots on a Thursday. And Tiger was so good at doing that too. In the high pressure leverage moments, he didn't lose a step. You know, he was still able to hit it pin high. He's still knocking down flag sticks. He doesn't miss-hit it.
Only on SportsGrid. The Bostonian versus the book.
I mean, here's the question. I know hockey players are pretty superstitious. Do they start to ask themselves the question of being like, we signed Corey Perry? We did what?
No.
We signed Corey Perry? Good news, boys. We're going to the Cup Finals. Bad news, boys. We're losing.
At some point, you got to win one for Corey. Right?
I guess
get
so.
on the team and like, wow, this guy, we gotta win one here.
The Bostonian versus the book.
Ferrall has taken over. Let's go. It's Ferrall. Coast to coast. Steaks, chicks, stacks. You and I are going to make a lot of money. It's Ferrall. Coast to coast. Wow, hour two, and we've got Elvis from Lipstick City at the LA Kings offices, Dennis Bernstein from the Fourth Period NHL Radio on Sirius XM. First things first, Elvis, how did you like, and I think you had already been to Sphere. How was it for the NHL draft? Didn't you see U2 or something there? Or
yeah.
You saw U2, right? Like, so compare the experiences. I talked to John Kincaid yesterday from Philly, and he said that the NHL screwed it up. And I just wanted to get your opinion of it. He said he thought they did a terrible job at the Sphere. And I don't know if I follow that.
I don't know. I disagree 100%, Scotty. It was amazing. Look, I've been there for you too. That's a concert. That's different. But they used every single facet of the multimedia building to make a presentation where, Scotty, I'll be honest with you, it should always be at Sphere. Like, how do you go to like an arena next year and present it from a TV standpoint and think it's going to be the same? It's not. It was unbelievable. It was overwhelming, just like the U2 concert was overwhelming. I just agree with them. I don't know what the NHL screwed up other than it ran a little long. One of the problems was logistically, normally you would see everybody go up on the podium and they would take a picture with the draftee, and then they come off. But that time, because the stage was so small in the middle with the tables, it's a smaller floor. A couple people went up. Then they had to have another area where they took a photo, and some of the GMs got pissed off because it took so long to get the kid down, do interviews, and then take a picture. But other than that, it was a stunning presentation. When the trades came up, all the horn sounding and stuff, I'm sure it was overwhelming for some, but I don't know how you top that, the NHL. I just think it was a fantastic night for TV and for the league.
Yeah, and the videos that they run in that ball, it's just what it is. It's a giant ball.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. Yeah. And like, I thought it was really cool no matter what. I watched part of the draft and I thought it was cool, and I saw the Dead there. I thought it was phenomenal, and I wish I would have seen U2 there. I think it's an extraordinary building. I look forward to seeing the UFC 306, I believe, is going to be in there, and that's going to be crazy too. Let me start with Gensel. I said yesterday that he, I believe, has a brilliant career because of Sidney Crosby, Malkin, Letang, Hornqvist. I
Mm-hmm.
thought those Cup teams made him a star, and I thought he was good in Carolina. I didn't think he was great, and he's replacing Stamkos. The fans didn't like it. I think they'll like Jake Gensel, but he's not what he was in Pittsburgh. I'm sorry. I'll never believe that.
Except for one thing. He's got this guy named Kucherov on his line who can make me look good and I can't skate. I get it. Like, here's the thing, Scotty. Steven Stamkos, and I get it, 5-on-5 in the game, he scored 40 goals. Even with Kucherov, how many is Jake going to get? 40, 42? And you're paying him more than $9 million, more than Stammer's getting in Nashville. I didn't like the move, and I don't like the way, more importantly, Scotty, I don't like the way it went down. Like, I know that, like, he's not owed anything because he won there, they paid him, but you need some transparency on what happened here, right? And here's the thing, Scott, they took care of everybody on that franchise. They took care of Point and Kucherov and Sergachev and Brandon Hagel and Eric Chernak, but not this guy? I don't get it. Like, I don't get it. Everybody else got everybody got deals, Scotty, including now Victor Hedman, into the next decade, but not Steven Stamkos. And Breezeball, the GM, said, well, I don't want to get into the details. No, I'm sorry. For this player, you have to get into the details. Like, we need transparency on why this guy, not for me necessarily, but for the fans. Like, this guy's loved. He had a C on his jersey for championship and captain.
Right.
Like, he was owed better. Like, he was owed an explanation to the public of why this went down. I get it. You want to move on. I think it's not – the team didn't do well in the playoffs. They lost to the Panthers in the first round. I get it. But a little bit more transparency on why this guy isn't still there.
So Breezeball basically said fans need to chill out or understand how things work nowadays?
Yeah, it's that old line from The Godfather. It's business, not personal, right? I mean, that's it. We want to change. And he could say, look, we won cups with him. We haven't been winning the last couple of years. We need a different look. And I think the one thread was the 5-on-5 play for Stamkos wasn't great. But Scott, he scored 40 goals. So who cares? Who cares when you score the goals? And again, I don't think Jake incrementally, like, Jake's not going to come in and score 55 goals. If he does, then we're wrong and they're right. I just think that he might get 42, 44. And now you're paying even more on a longer-term deal. Look, Kucherov can make, like I said, anybody look really, really good. Jake will put up goals, but I just don't think there's going to be that much of a bump going from Steven Stamkos to Jake Gensel.
So what did you think of the haul that the Predators got and all those players they signed? They signed a lot of big names and spent a lot of money.
I got a text from Vegas about 3 hours into free agency. Should I put a future ticket on the Predators to win this Western Conference? So everybody's going to overreact. Look, here's the thing. Right now, why were the Predators in the playoffs, Scotty? A team that couldn't score. Now, you know what they have coming into the season? They've got 3 40-goal scorers. They've got Forsberg, who's been with the franchise. They've got Stamkos, who we talked about, and Jonathan Marchessault, who, by the way, scored 42 goals next year. This could be a real – and he's got Brady Shea. At first, when they gave the extension to Saros with Askarov, the rookie in the background waiting, I was like, what's Trotz doing? Well, now we know what Trotz doing. What a great haul. Look, do I think they're at the top of the West right now? No, I still love Dallas. Edmonton was 2 goals away from winning a cup, but they're going to be a much more dangerous team. Not necessarily in the regular season because they had 99 points, but Trotz did that move for the playoffs. Imagine having a Conn Smythe winner and a 2-time Stanley Cup winner on your top 6 going into the playoffs.
So they lost Fogle. They signed Skinner. They signed Perry again. Yeah. Do you think they got better? They also got Victor Arvidsson. So Arvidsson and Skinner are healthy. Those are 25 and 30 goal scorers on the second line. Scotty, it doesn't matter. They got Connor and Leon still, and they have Bouchard, and they have Hyman. They'll probably get rid of Evander Kane. They're still a dangerous team because Skinner proved himself in the playoffs. I thought they said, excuse me, I apologize.
Yeah.
I thought they said that they were literally, there was a lot of talk that Draisaitl was going to be gone, that they couldn't pay both of them.
Mm-hmm. Maybe. We'll see. But one comes up earlier than the other. They're not simultaneous. I think what happens, Scotty, is if Leon stays there, he's going to sign like Austin Matthews, 4 years, 3 years. I don't think Leon's going to end his career there. He may continue there. Don't think it's going to end there. Now, it helps that they went to Game 7. Yeah, go ahead.
How about Montour? And a lot of the only guy that stayed in Florida was basically what, Reinhart, and then all these other guys. A lot of them got rich somewhere else, like Montour.
Yeah, well, he's supposed to. He cashed out, and that's what happens with championship teams. Guys leave. It's as simple as that. It's so hard to repeat. I don't see the Panthers repeating here. Like, Tarasenko too. I mean, that's what Brandon Montour is supposed to do. Right now, they might trade Aaron Ekblad too, which would be even worse, and then make the team even worse going in because he's on the last year of his deal. Can't fault the player. Go get your money. Go get your bag, and that's what Brandon Montour did in Seattle. But that's not a contending team. He's going to get used to a lot more losing in Seattle, at least for next season. They're an 81-point team.
What about the Blackhawks for Bedard? They surrounded him with Bertuzzi, Teravainen, Old Man Maroon, Alec Martinez, who you know very well, and I guess Craig Smith. Doesn't matter. Did they get better at all? And real quick, what's your thoughts on? I got 40 seconds. Your thoughts on Bowman and Quenneville able to get a job again in the league?
Okay, so the Blackhawks will be more competitive. They're not a playoff team. Bowman and Quenneville, look, they're open for business. It's as simple as that. I think more Q than Bowman. But, yeah, I think at some point in time there's going to be a team that's underachieving, Scotty, and they're going to turn to Joel Quenneville and say, can you come in and fix us? And that's what they were waiting for. So so sooner on Quenneville than Bowman if I had to handicap it.
That's what I said yesterday. I have to say, Elvis, you were already a god, but I never knew you looked so heavenly as you do today in all white. If you didn't have those specks on your shirt, I would think that you were Jesus reporting from heaven for us. I love you, Elvis. He's left the building.
Love you, Scott.
Technically, despite having the most wins in both the AL and all of Major League Baseball, 52 of them for New York, no longer the best winning percentage.
You expect your front offices to hit that gas pedal when it comes time to get a better team on the field post All-Star break, because the one thing that you know from the Yankees and the Orioles is what, Ben? You're going to fight with each other throughout the stretch here, and you want home field advantage.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
I think the one comparison that I'd like to make that reminds me of Tiger is Scotty's ability to make shots on a Sunday look like shots on a Thursday. And Tiger was so good at doing that too. In the high pressure leverage moments, he didn't lose a step. He was still able to hit it pin high. He's still knocking down flag sticks. He doesn't miss-hit it.
Only on SportsGrid.
This new sports integrity partnership, Genius Sports, is involved in this. More protection.
They said that's going to allow them to beef up their protection and add more integrity monitoring tools to essentially catch bad behavior before it happens. This comes, obviously, after a just ton of scandals we've had across sports betting lately, whether it's the MLB umpire, Pat Hoberg.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Watch out for USA and Canada in 4 years. Cricket's going to be a sport that's growing.
I made my first cricket bet last week or over the weekend. I was getting a team that was leading like 150 to 5 plus odds. I'm like, I'm up 150 points and I'm getting plus odds. Where do I sign? I love this cricket stuff. What are you kidding me?
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
Carver, you heard Elvis talking about Stamkos. He thinks that was terrible that they let him go like that. The captain and two-time Cup winner, but they kept Hedman, which to me, now I don't deny how good he is and how big he is, right? But I also feel like it's like the Letang deal. Letang's won 3 Stanley Cups, and Letang's old. And what did his new deal bring to the Penguins besides nothing? They keep signing these old guys. If you're going to get rid of the guy that scores 40 goals, but you keep the old guy that's I won't deny he's the rock of their defense. He's hard to get around. I'll give you that. But let's face facts. They've had him, and they don't win anymore. I mean, they don't win cups anymore with him. So I think those days are over.
Look, I agree with Denny on one thing. I think he's right that Brisebois and the Tampa Bay Lightning organization did owe a little bit of a better explanation to the fan base who absolutely loved and adored Steven Stamkos as to why they gave money to everyone, as he said and you just said, except him. And I'll say this to you as well. This is almost like what the Penguins did, right? You win 2 cups. The Penguins won 2 cups. And what they have to do? It was like they had to give lifetime achievement payouts at the end of their careers to Malkin and Letang and all the guys that were part of it. Forget Crosby. He's a separate situation. That guy's still at the top of his game. But Tampa won a couple cups, and everyone got paid. Point, Kucherov, Hedman, and for some reason Stamkos didn't. And it just doesn't make a lot of sense. Maybe it's all those injuries he had, right? I mean, the guy really didn't even play in one of those cup runs. They skated out there the last game, if you remember, and he wasn't part of it. So he will now head off to Nashville. Here is Stamkos yesterday talking about now going to a new place for the first time in his NHL career at 34 years old.
And that's the toughest part is trying to hang on to something that maybe it isn't trying to hang on to you. And that was the tough part for sure. But like I said, the memories I've had in Tampa will trump whatever, ill will or feelings I've had throughout this process, because those are temporary. Those are emotional decisions. And, as time passes, those usually go away. It's remembering the amazing times growing up in that city as an 18-year-old kid to where I am now, having a family, obviously winning. The fans, the city, everything has been first class. And those are the things that you remember. You're sad it didn't work out maybe the way you wanted to, but a new chapter is opening up in my family's life. And that's something we're excited about.
So here's the deal. It's pretty obvious to me and you that this is about his body. They don't believe that he'll last 4 years in Nashville and be productive. They didn't want to give him a deal because they think he's injured too much. They think his body's shot at 34, and his best hockey was when he got his hands on those Stanley Cups. That was his best. And you said it, he missed one of them flush, right? So he's got his name on the Stanley Cup, but they don't believe that he'll stay healthy. They don't believe, Brisebois and their owner do not believe that is a good business decision, keeping his old rack body for 4 more years and a lot of money. The bottom line is Gensel's had very few injuries compared to this guy. A couple, that's it. This guy Stamkos has been out for long stretches multiple times, and that's why they got rid of him. This isn't about not liking him. This isn't about not loving him. This guy will have his jersey retired in that building. You can guarantee it. And that'll happen one day, but not while he's playing in Nashville. And I'll tell you, it's like them doing the same thing for Klay Thompson. They're going to retire his jersey in San Francisco in the Chase. Well, at least wait for him to be done playing in Dallas before you start hanging banners. Stamkos, they got rid of him because they don't believe in his body.
They don't believe in his body. You're talking multiple, just went to look up because it's such a laundry list of stuff. Multiple knee surgeries. He's had a back issue, a core muscle issue.
He ain't gonna
He's
last.
had a lot. He's had a lot. It's not little things. He's had a lot of major surgeries on his docket and on his watch. And I guess if you got Brisebois in a closed room without a camera, he'd probably tell you he's afraid the guy is one more injury away from not playing anymore.
That's
right. Probably what.
Because
precisely
right.
what he's worth.
He's right.
Brisebois probably why. And one other thing Denny said, which I didn't even think about yesterday, and it makes a little bit more sense now. you're right about Gensel with Crosby and with Malkin, but he's going to do the same thing playing next to Kucherov. Kucherov is going to set him up, and he's probably going to score 40 goals with Tampa because Kucherov is so damn good. He's going to feed him all night long.
Well, that's great, and I love it that he has been so fortunate in his career to have Sidney Crosby, Malkin, and Letang feeding him, and now Kucherov. It must be nice to have someone feeding you like that guy. He is the beneficiary. He is his wife. His wife should be so lucky that she has all that money because of these other players. I don't think he can carry any team on his own, and he proved it in Carolina when he did nothing.
Yep, indeed. We will come back. I have two more for you. I have Kyle Dubas talking about where the direction of the Pittsburgh Penguin franchise is at this point. I found this for you last night, and I wanted to make sure I played it for you. And I will have Vegas general manager Kelly McCrimmon, who basically was all upset because the Vegas fans were mad that all their players off the Stanley Cup team went and signed deals at other places. So we've got both of those to wrap up the NHL when we come back.
Oh, you mean those fans in Nevada that don't know anything about hockey and they won a Stanley Cup and now they think they know something about hockey? You mean those people?
I think that's what Kelly is kind of insinuating when we listen to him. When we
Kelly's
come back.
right. Kelly's right. Bunch of morons giving him hockey advice. That's funny. I think they've done a great job with that team. They got a Stanley Cup in the foyer.
Technically, despite having the most wins in both the AL and all of Major League Baseball, 52 of them for New York, no longer the best winning percentage.
You expect your front offices to hit that gas pedal when it comes time to get a better team on the field post All-Star break, because the one thing that you know from the Yankees and the Orioles is what, Ben? You're going to fight with each other throughout the stretch here, and you want home field advantage.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
I think the one comparison that I'd like to make that reminds me of Tiger is Scotty's ability to make shots on a Sunday look like shots on a Thursday. And Tiger was so good at doing that too. In the high pressure leverage moments, he didn't lose a step. He was still able to hit it pin high. He's still knocking down flag sticks. He doesn't hit it.
Only on SportsGrid.
This new sports integrity partnership, Genius Sports, is involved in this. More protection.
They said that's going to allow them to beef up their protection and add more integrity monitoring tools to essentially catch bad behavior before it happens. This comes, obviously, after a just ton of scandals we've had across sports betting lately, whether it's the MLB umpire, Pat Hoberg.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Watch out for USA and Canada in 4 years. Cricket's going to be a sport that's growing.
I made my first cricket bet last week or over the weekend. I was getting a team that was leading like 150 to 5 plus odds. I'm like, I'm up 150 points and I'm getting plus odds. Where do I sign? I love this cricket stuff. What are you kidding me?
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
So, Carver High, what did this Kyle Dubas? I'm starting to not like him. That didn't take long.
He was asked point blank yesterday, where exactly are the Pittsburgh Penguins going right now? Let's hear it.
What is the on-ice direction of this franchise right now?
The on-ice direction of the franchise, Rob, is simply, we're not looking to simply squeak into the playoffs. It's to return the team to become a contender as soon as possible. Can we do that this season? Can we do that next season? It's hard to put a time frame on it, but this is obviously not a strip it down to the studs situation here. The people in the room are too good for that. It's trying to use every method we can to acquire future assets that we can then bring into the organization through the draft or through younger guys through free agency that we can bring in here and they can pop, or via trade or via waivers that can come in and support the core group that's
cheap
here.
Guys, cheap. He's looking for cheap talent is what he's looking for.
I mean to tell you, look, listen, they can't even they can't make the playoffs. They can't even, and then who they've added is awful, and who they have is decent at best. Decent at best. I won't deny they got a few players. They got about 6 or 7 guys that can really play hockey, and that's about it. Let's just calm down. My man needs to calm down. He's not fooling anyone.
Look, I think that if I told you the scenario was going to be similar to what you dealt with earlier, you've won a lot of cups, as you know. You've got 5 Stanley Cups in Pittsburgh, and they've kind of followed the same theme, right? You won those cups in the early 90s. Team was good enough after that for a few years, but eventually what'd you have to do? You had to completely tear it down, and you went through some really bad years, right, in the early 2000s. Really bad years in Pittsburgh. And then you got Crosby and Flower and Malkin, and what happened? You became great again. You won more cups. And it kind of feels like, Scotty, you're kind of getting to that bottom of that slide where eventually you bottom out again and you hope to rebuild it back up. And they're good at it. They've done it before.
They're already there. They're already there. Like, they're real average. And they just don't matter right now. It is what it is. It's cyclical. It's not their it's not their time. It's not their world. Those days are gone. But, like I always say to people that I give the finger to when they yell nasty things to me in New York about my Penguins, because I get made a lot and people yell nasty things to me and I give them the finger and then I say, I've always enjoyed my 5 Stanley Cups. Like, it's just like end of subject. That is period. Okay? It's like no different than the Islanders winning 4, no different than the Oilers winning 5. The Red Wings, the Blackhawks, the LA Kings. I could go on and on. Anymore, you have one. It's like you got your name on it. That's great. If you got one, you're like nobody. Honestly, if you got one, you're just like, oh, whatever. Oh, you got your name on it finally, huh? Like I feel for Paul Maurice. He got one and got his name on it. I mean, I got 5 of them. So it's so funny to me. Like but it is cyclical. They're just not good anymore. It's not. And like this chick calls me all the time to sell me season tickets. I just want to put her in the Allegheny River upside down and just dunk her. I'm like, I'm not buying season tickets to watch this crap.
Let me squeeze this in. Vegas general manager Kelly McCrimmon. Of course, last year they won their cup in their 6th season in the league. They had to lose a couple of those players this offseason, including Jonathan Marchessault, who won the Conn Smythe a year ago, Chandler Stevenson, etc. Here is McCrinnon giving the
days like this are tough for fans, and they're not easy for like the fans think they know our players. I know our players better than our fans do. So I've got relationships with each of these guys. You have to respect their rights as unrestricted free agents. That's the collective bargaining agreement. We didn't trade these players, so we tried to retain them. We're not going to go into the weeds on what each contract negotiation was with each player, but we were not after huge hometown discounts or anything else like that. We made, I thought, real fair, reasonable offers. I think they would say the same. Part of the reason we won the Stanley Cup is we had so many players outperform their contract. Well, when their contracts come due, they go and find market value. That's the nature of the business.
That's how it works.
He's dead right.
He's how it goes. Eventually you got to pay when you win.
SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. Fantasy sports today.
Can he be a guy that's really useful in your fantasy rotation? I think the answer is yes.
Game time decisions.
I'm going to lose the bet because he's injured again.
Betting above the rim.
He's got a broke J. That's all there is to it. He's got no confidence in that jump shot.
My thing you've always heard me say on the network is you're either winning or you're rebuilding.
In-game live all access.
Wondering when that was going to happen, and the answer is it just
Sometimes
did.
the bigger guy will have the advantage. Well, if the little guy can move, Joe, it's hard to hit the little guy sometimes when you're a big boy, right?
In-game live, prime time.
40-1, I'm going to take a little flyer on Justin Rose.
In-game live, overtime.
As you sit here and listen, watch right now, you may want to consider placing that bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Technically, despite having the most wins in both the AL and all of Major League Baseball, 52 of them for New York, no longer the best winning percentage.
You expect your front offices to hit that gas pedal when it comes time to get a better team on the field post All-Star break, because the one thing that you know from the Yankees and the Orioles is what, Ben? You're going to fight with each other throughout the stretch here, and you want home field advantage.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Despite me being a Yankee fan, I think Joe would deserve the label as Aaron Judge's biggest fan, not through any bias, but just through the amount of money that he's made anybody who's been betting on him.
I just had him for that home run, and I'm going to go back to it today. That home run coming in at plus 230. Max Fried here, while he has been strong, this is Aaron Judge.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid. The brighter the lights, the bigger the stakes. Hunt or be hunted. Know your prey. This is a whole new jungle. This is The Lion's Share. Brought to you by BetMGM.
Yeah, the Lion's Share. You know, the Euros and Copas have been unbelievable. So celebrate the summer of soccer with BetMGM. How about a 33% odds boost? Available throughout the Copa and Euros. Go to the BetMGM app on iOS or Android, or BetMGM.com for full details. You're going to love it. Soccer and BetMGM in concert with one another. It's what's up. All right, Carver High. Let's go to the well again with a huge slate of baseball tonight. I know you've got some action for me here on the Lion's Share. What we should do.
Yeah, you know what we're doing, right? It's Tater Tuesday here on the Lion's Share. So we're going to get ourselves very involved with the long ball tonight in Major League Baseball. Let's do it. You know how we do. We'll start in Atlanta. The Giants are in town, Scotty. Now, Jorge Soler has not had the best season here with San Francisco, but I'll tell you what he does do. He always hits well in Atlanta. Remember, won World Series MVP there back when they beat the Astros. Number two, he beats up Ronaldo Lopez. How does 12 for 29 with 3 homers sound in his career off of him? Soler at plus 375 tonight. Big long ball right out to how about a little Oppo taco to the chop house out in right field tonight for Jorge Soler.
Off the wall at the chop house. I love it. Take a chip out of that brick.
That's what we really need. That would be a nice way to get us started. All right, next game I have for you. I'm going with a deuce from it because I think this is the game tonight where you're going to see up, and away, lots of runs. We have a couple gas cans on the mound, and that is the Guardians and the White Sox getting together tonight. We'll start with Josh Naylor for a couple reasons. One, he destroys right-handed pitchers like Chris Flexen. He's hit him pretty well in his past two, and he's been a Tater Tuesday legend for us, has hit multiple times for us, plus 310 for Naylor tonight in that game. And I'll give you the other one, Paul DeJong for the White Sox, 3 for 10 with 2 homers off of Carlos Carrasco in his career, and we're getting DeJong at plus 425 tonight. Honestly, Scotty, you want to go anywhere else in that game? Luis Robert, Jose Ramirez, maybe even a little further down the board. I think that game is going to be Tater Time Central tonight.
Yeah, I mean, Ramirez is unbelievable. I mean, this guy, every time he comes up, does something. So I think you're right. It's a lot like that Milwaukee, Colorado. Wasn't that last night? I think that we saw that thing sail over the number, and we knew there was going to be long balls. I agree with you on those. Those are great bets.
Let's go. Next, we will head back up to Toronto. Of course, the Astros beat the Jays yesterday up there on Canada Day. Yordan Alvarez had a homer in that game. He is getting hot. We are going back to him tonight for two reasons. One, plus 400 for Yordan Alvarez. You have got to be kidding me. That's a great price, especially, Scotty, when the guy on the mound for the Blue Jays, Jose Berrios, has allowed 18 homers so far this year. Your boy Berrios, he loves giving up the long ball. So let's get the best long ball hitter in the game and in the lineup up against Berrios. We'll take Yordan.
And then what? They've won 10 of 11. They're on fire right now. He's heating up. Altuve got tossed out of a game. He's in a foul mood. I can see that painful little reminder hitting a home run as well. Like, they're teeing off right now. Not only do you bet on them to hit these home runs across the board. Pena hit one the other night. Bet on them to win.
Yeah. I got no problems with that either. Of course, we'll give you all the numbers for the games themselves later on C2C, but I could see the Astros have gotten very, very hot. Late night in Seattle, the Orioles are in town in the Pacific Northwest. Gunnar Henderson has been outstanding this year with the long ball. He's going to be in the Home Run Derby, as we know, in Arlington at the All-Star Game. He has good numbers off of Kirby's Dreamland in his career, has a homer off of him. I know this game's got a low total tonight, Scotty. I seen that 7 hanging there, 7.5. That's okay. We can still get Gunnar at a really nice price, plus 375. This guy hits homers all the time. Let's keep it going tonight in the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah, great pitchers going tonight. I can see why that number's so low. I like, of all people, I would say him or Santander or Mullins would be the one that would hit one out. I don't think there's going to be a lot of home runs in that game tonight. I think that number 7 for a reason. Both of these guys can really pitch. Rodriguez has 9 wins. He means business.
We only need one, and that's Gunnar. We just need one homer in that game. The game can end 1-0 for all I care.
The young gun.
Finally, the young gun, baby, Gunnar Henderson. Late night in Los Angeles at Chavez Ravine. I told you about this a couple months ago when they were in town. This was in May. The Arizona Diamondbacks return to Dodger Stadium tonight. What does that mean? We autoplay Christian Walker. It actually doesn't even matter who's on the mound for the LA Dodgers. 14 career home runs at Dodger Stadium. He had 2 earlier this year in their series in May. He hits everybody on that staff. Doesn't matter who's going to be going. Plus 450 for Walker. He owns that stadium.
So he's going to light it up at the Ravine. I still keep having flashbacks to the Dodger-Yankee series that we saw, and I still contend that that is the World Series that everyone wants. Everyone. I don't care where you live and what you think or hate or like of me or anyone else. The Dodgers and Yankees, it's never been the same since they did it in the 70s. Let's face facts. It's simple. What is the World Series, Carver Hyde, that would gain the largest attention for that league that people just don't even care about anymore? They're so bored with baseball. What do they want to see? They want to see Ohtani against Judge in the World Series.
That would be, not only do people want to see that, Scotty, I'm sure if you asked Rob in his ivory tower over there on Park Avenue at the Major League Baseball offices, he would probably say the same thing.
What do you think the television executives want?
After getting Arizona and Texas last year, they would love to have Ohtani and Judge, Dodgers, Yankees, New York, and LA in the World Series. But Christian Walker's going to own LA tonight. Gets a home run in every 8.5 at bats at Dodger Stadium. So make sure that you add him to the card this evening.
I hope you're
and
right.
You know, they can lose too. You know what? Ohtani will probably hit a homer as well off of Nelson. He stinks. But Christian Walker's the guy that we are going to go after. Bonus ball for you from the soccer, as I've been giving you these with the Copa to score a goal. Of course, we don't have the United States anymore to go and trail them. But Vinicius Jr. for Brazil tonight, Scotty. This guy has scored huge goals for Real Madrid. He is your boy Junior, plus 250 in this Brazil-Colombia game. They need a win to win the group. your boy Vinicius is going to get it done tonight for us.
So where was I today? I was somewhere, and the guy yelled to me, where was I? Getting gas. The guy yells in the car. He says to me, he goes, Ferrall, are you watching tonight? I said, watching what? He said, watching Brazil. I was like, yeah. I was like, yeah. Because he said, watch him tonight. That's the excitement. Watching Junior. And he's like, that's $35, cash or charge.
Cash or charge. That game is at Levi's Stadium in San Francisco, Santa Clara, of course, as we should say.
The other game's
Levi's
one in
Santa
Austin.
Clara.
One in Austin, one in Santa Clara.
Yeah, the Costa Rica-Paraguay game is in Austin at the Q2 Stadium down there. So a little bit of a smaller stadium that they'll have for Costa Rica and Paraguay. They put the Colombia-Brazil game in the big house out there at Levi's. So there you go, Scotty. Lion's Share brought to you by BetMGM. Vinicius to score for Brazil, and a six-pack of Tuesday taters. Soler, Naylor, De Jong, Jordan, Gunnar, and Christian Walker. Big flies all around, heading straight to the window on the Lion's Share.
So we didn't did we ring the bell last night at all? Because tonight we need to ring the bell. I can't have
We need to ring the bell tonight. We were a little short we only had 2 games last night, which I
that's
hate.
right.
But we were able to put a couple of them in there. Vientos let me down. I thought he was going to hit one. But we will go tonight.
And the over in the Brewer game.
Yes, we did do that.
The Lion's Share, presented by BetMGM. SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. Fantasy sports today.
Can he be a guy that's really useful in your fantasy rotation? I think the answer is yes.
Game
And guess
time
what?
decisions.
I'm going to lose the bet because he's injured again.
Betting above the rim.
He's got a broke day. That's all there is to it. He's got no confidence in that jump shot.
My thing you've always heard me say on the network is you're either winning or you're rebuilding.
In-game live, all access.
Wondering when that was going to happen, and the answer is it just
Sometimes you think
did.
the bigger guy will have the advantage. Well, if the little guy can move, Joe, it's hard to hit the little guy sometimes when you're a big boy, right?
In-game live, prime time.
40-1, I'm going to take a little flyer on Justin Rose.
In-game live, overtime.
As you sit here and listen, watch right now, you may want to consider placing that bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Technically, despite having the most wins in both the AL and all of Major League Baseball, 52 of them for New York, no longer the best winning percentage.
You expect your front offices to hit that gas pedal when it comes time to get a better team on the field post All-Star break, because the one thing that you know from the Yankees and the Orioles is what, Ben? You're going to fight with each other throughout the stretch here, and you want home field advantage.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Despite me being a Yankee fan, I think Joe would deserve the label as Aaron Judge's biggest fan, not through any bias, but just through the amount of money that he's made anybody who's been betting on him.
I just had him for that home run, and I'm going to go back to it today. That home run coming in at plus 230. Max Fried here, while he has been strong, this is Aaron Judge.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
So, just so we're clear, they're in the 86th minute, and Turkey is holding on 2-1 over Austria in this elimination game. This is gigantic knockout round. So everyone thought Austria was going to win this game, and Turkey scored quick, and then they were up 2-0. Austria has scored in this half, but they're running out of time. I'll tell you that much. Like I said, in the 86th minute, Coach Young joins us to talk rack. What do you think of the Spida deal in Cleveland? And here's a guy that didn't leave and is the man in his market, is the top baller on that team without question, and held true and stayed. What do you think of a guy finally? A few guys have stayed, but there's been so much movement and all these superstars want to go somewhere else. What do you think of him sticking?
Honestly, Ferrall, where was he going? I mean, the place he always wanted to go was the Knicks. They have no need for him with Brunson. Then you thought maybe he would want to go to Brooklyn because, obviously his dad working for the Mets. Can't go there. That team's completely rebuilding. And it's a good situation in Cleveland. You and I have talked about it. We love Kenny Atkinson. I think it's a fantastic hire. I think it's an upgrade over J.B. Bickerstaff. And you have parts in Darius Garland and Evan Mobley or Jared Allen that could try and upgrade the roster. The way he signed the extension, only 3 years, could set him up for one more big deal after that, because I do believe the third year is an option. So for Spider Mitchell, he gets his money, he gets security, he's at a place where he is the cornerstone. They've made strides. Now the question is, can Kobe Altman make the next move or two to get them in the class of the Philadelphia, New York, Milwaukee, who are all one step behind Boston?
So I was arguing yesterday with John Kincaid in Philly, who is convinced that the Sixers are better than the Knicks. And I said, the Knicks kicked their ass with a little point guard by himself in the playoffs. Is that not true? Are you going to tell me that old man Paul George, now I don't deny Maxey, and I don't deny George can score. I do question whether he can stay healthy. His norm is to, miss 30 games. It's not to play 74 games. And Embiid plays on one leg, and from 60 to 80, he barely plays. You're telling me that team's better than that Villanova-loaded Knick team with Randall back, even with fat Mitchell Robinson, and then they get Mikal Bridges on top of it? You're telling me Philly's better than them? I wasn't having it.
Top end talent, top three, they're better than the Knicks. But if you look at depth, if you look at defense,
why don't you go down the shore and go root for him?
Let me finish my point.
Go back and root for him like you do when you go to Philly all the time. Go ahead.
Me, the Knicks fan who went to Philly, who thought that you didn't think I was going to make it out alive out of Philly. And look at me. I'm right here. Let me finish. Defense, Knicks. Rebounding, Knicks. Depth, Knicks. Ready? Coaching, Knicks. Cohesion and chemistry, Knicks. Health, Knicks. Now, I know Mitchell Robinson gets hurt a lot. I know OG doesn't play a ton of games. But Mikal Bridges plays every game, every year. Brunson plays every game, every year. Randall's injury was a fluke injury. When you look at all the things, Philly may have the better high-end talent, but they got to play together. They got to stay healthy, and I'm concerned about their depth. When you get them into a 7-game series in the playoffs, I think the Knicks' toughness, the Knicks' rebounding, the Knicks' defense, and the Knicks' cohesion and having two big-time perimeter stoppers and OG and Bridges is enough to beat Philadelphia in a 7-game series.
With everything you just said, like here's the scale. There's the Knicks. It just went, and and when they, with all the 5 reasons that you just said the Knicks are better, here's Philly. They just popped off the scale. And how have big 3 teams been doing the last 20 years in the NBA when they got super teams? How's that going for everybody?
No, it has to go well. If you think about it, Ferrall, the Miami Heat was the one team that really broke the mold, that actually got it done in regards to what they did. But people keep talking about like LeBron, D-Wade, Bosh, bro. It was Ray Allen. It was Shane Battier. It was Mario Chalmers. It was James Posey. It was UD. Like they had depth, Ferrall. They had Mike Miller. They had guys around them. I don't like what's going on besides that in Philly, right? Andre Drummond, good player. Can he stay in shape? Can't make a foul shot. You look at someone like Eric Gordon. He's 495 years old, right? The Knicks have more around their core that I think in a 7-game series will beat Philadelphia.
Why did Klay Thompson, those odds never change one lick when he went to Dallas? Same at the beginning of the day as the end of the day.
Ferrall, because everybody knew he was going to Dallas. See, I, for one, never thought he was going to the Lakers. I said it yesterday. No state income tax.
But why is Dallas not moving the needle with him?
Because I think you're losing Derrick Jones Jr. is one of the best 3-and-D guys in the NBA, and you're looking at the fact that they're not better than OKC with White Boy Rick at the center position. They're not better than Minnesota. They're not better than Denver. They're priced appropriately as the 4th or the 5th best team in a loaded Western Conference.
How did Denver? So KCP's gone, and they did nothing else. They just let him leave, and they're just sticking with Murray and the Serb. That's it? That's their team?
They're hoping now Michael Porter Jr. continues to excel. And listen, Ferrall, they are banking on Christian Brown taking that next step. Ferrall, good player. I don't see. I still think they miss Bruce Brown from last year.
They do.
So you lose Bruce Brown
do that over that white boy. Honestly.
That's why, Ferrall, right now, if you ask me who's coming out of the West, it's OKC. Because White Boy Rick and Caruso, they done fixed a whole lot of problems they had in OKC. They should be the favorites to come out of the West.
I still, I need you to get all your friends. You got all them rich friends like your boy Pickett's dad. Tell him, we need to buy the Celtics. They're worth $5 billion. We'll make a fortune. We can retire.
I'll talk to Big Kenny, but I don't know if he'll do it. Maybe the Knicks.
Money.
Technically, despite having the most wins in both the AL and all of Major League Baseball, 52 of them for New York, no longer the best winning percentage.
You expect your front offices to hit that gas pedal when it comes time to get a better team on the field post All-Star break, because the one thing that you know from the Yankees and the Orioles is what, Ben? You're going to fight with each other throughout the stretch here, and you want home field advantage.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
I think the one comparison that I'd like to make that reminds me of Tiger is Scotty's ability to make shots on a Sunday look like shots on a Thursday. And Tiger was so good at doing that too. In the high pressure leverage moments, he didn't lose a step. You know, he was still able to hit it pin high. He's still knocking down flag sticks. He doesn't miss hit it.
Only on SportsGrid.
This new sports integrity partnership, Genius Sports, is involved in this. More protection.
They said that's going to allow them to beef up their protection and add more integrity monitoring tools to essentially catch bad behavior before it happens. This comes, obviously, after a just ton of scandals we've had across sports betting lately, whether it's the MLB umpire, Pat Hobart.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Watch out for USA and Canada in 4 years. Cricket's going to be a sport that's growing.
I made my first cricket bet last week or over the weekend. I was getting a team that was leading like 150 to 5 plus odds. I'm like, I'm up 150 points and I'm getting plus odds? Where do I sign? I love this cricket stuff. What are you kidding me?
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
So Turkey just beat Austria 2-1. That's a final in the pouring rain, and they move on, and Austria goes home. What a rowdy scene at that stadium. My God. And the weather, it was just pouring, and the Turkish fans are going crazy. That's a huge upset, Carver High.
That is a massive upset for Turkey to make the last 8 of the Euros. That is a big deal over there. And I think some maybe would have said the same about Austria, but Austria losing that game with the position that they were in. And listen, Turkey got a 2-0 lead. Austria made it 2-1, and they just could not find that equalizer late. So your round of 8 is set at the Euros, Scotty. On Friday, Spain and Germany and Portugal against France. Now, that's a hell of a doubleheader. Germany, Spain, Portugal, France on Friday as the double dip at the Euros. And then on Saturday, England against Switzerland, Netherlands against Turkey. So that's the side where you've got a couple of teams that maybe people weren't expecting to go this far, whether it be the Swiss, obviously Turkey. So that's but that is, you talk about a heavy hitter Friday. And we'll be here on C2C for that Portugal-France game. That's the late game. Wow, that's a good one.
I mean, Portugal got lucky winning the other day on those PKs that goalie made 3 stops in a row. They did not look good in that game. They couldn't score against Slovenia, and then they, win in the PKs. Meanwhile, France, they got rid of Belgium 1-0. France is tough. France will give Ronaldo and Portugal all they can handle. And that Swiss team on their game, they're tough. I hit that at plus 230, that team. They're tougher than anyone thinks they are. I think, what'd you say, they're playing England? How about another upset?
I actually thought they would be bigger favorites, England, but they're not. England's minus
England
170 and Switzerland's plus 138. So that's a lot less than you got for them in that other matchup against Italy, where you're getting around plus 230.
England looked great on their 2 kicks of the whole game, the bicycle kick and then the cane. So they got lucky. They were down 1-0 in the 95th minute, and somehow they win 2-1 in extra time. The Swiss played great and won convincingly. So I could see them giving England all kinds of problems. Why not?
But if you're England and you're the pre-tournament favorites, right? Whether they deserve to be or not, they're the pre-tournament favorites, and they're on the same side of the bracket as Switzerland, Turkey, and the Netherlands. England's got to be in the final.
Turkey can back it up again and win against the Netherlands. To win this and then win that is going to be brutal.
That would be very, very difficult to do. Look, we've seen some wild stuff in the Euros in the past. Remember the year Greece won, obviously, is one of the biggest upsets ever. We've had some teams come out of nowhere in the Euros. But if I'm just from an English standpoint, all the heavy hitters are on the other side. Spain, Germany, Portugal, France, all on the other side of the bracket.
So they play them. Turkey plays the Netherlands Saturday.
Correct. That would be the second game on Saturday. Would be
and
Turkey
Swiss England is Saturday.
Yes. That's your setup there for the final 8 in the Euros. While I have a minute, I'll give you these last hockey things. The Oilers signed Jeff Skinner to a 1-year deal. That was after he was bought out in Buffalo. I'll tell you this right now. Jeff Skinner will score 30 goals on that Oiler team next year, Scotty. But they hated him in Buffalo. I know Buffalo sucked. They gave him $7.5 million a year. Everyone in Buffalo is going to be crying when they watch Jeff Skinner score 30 goals next to McDavid or Draisaitl, because they already said yesterday, we're going to play him top 6, we're going to play him on the power play, we're going to do all this stuff. And the Buffalo guy said he couldn't do that anymore. So we'll see how that goes when he gets up there.
That's because Buffalo had wrapped around him bologna slices, and in Edmonton he's going to be covered in caviar. I mean, honestly.
That's precisely right. The NHL also released their schedule today. Man, they're fast with that, huh? They don't make you wait like the NFL and the NBA. They get that schedule right out after the season ends. Opening night, October the 8th. Florida will raise the banner at home, and Utah will make their home debut against Chicago that night as well. So, of course, they'll be at the Delta Center in Salt Lake City, the start of the Utah Hockey Club.
Anything's better than watching that team play at a college rink in the middle of the desert. It was embarrassing.
It's an upgrade. There's no doubt about that.